Hi, my name is India and welcome back to my channel. This week I'm going to be reading books I've added to my TBR, whether that's just my non-physical list or actually bought books inspired by Cece from Problems of a Book Nerd, who I've been watching for years and was definitely like the first booktuber who I watched specifically to get LGBTQ plus recommendations, and I just really like her content, and I have a lot of books on my TBR that are just there because of her. So let me go through my TBR, my honorable mentions, and then we'll get into the vlog. My TBR consists of 3 physical books and 1, maybe 2 ebooks. So first we have Of Fire and Stars by Audrey Colhurst. I remember Cece talking about this before this book even came out and just being like, gay princesses. Yes. We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson, which will be interesting. I don't know how I'm feeling about reading a sad book this week. And then Juliet Takes a Breath by Gabby Rivera, which I'm very excited to get to. On my Kindle, I have The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, which I will definitely be reading. And I have 1 book that I have on hold at the library that might be coming in while I'm reading this, or while I'm filming this. And if it does, I will try to get to that. And that is The Luminous Dead. Who by? I don't know. Other honorable mentions, which are on my TBR, that I just don't have, or I can't possibly get to everything in this week. But books like Gone Girl, All the Bad Apples, Water Runs Red, Anger is a Gift, Piecing Me Together, The Luminous Dead, which I mentioned, and On the Edge of Gone. All books that I heard either first or like primarily from her videos and her channel. This video isn't necessarily to see if I have similar reading tastes to Cece, but just because I have books that I would like to get to that I picked up almost exclusively per her recommendation. So let's see if I like them. I think I'm gonna start with Of Fire and Stars. Happy Friday afternoon. I am currently making myself some tea and some matcha. I'm trying to figure out like what order I want to do these in. But yeah, I'm making an iced matcha just because I've had this powder for a couple months. It's the Gold Pure Matcha Powder, and I haven't found a way to make it hot that I like. Like it tastes a little off, and it's easier for me to make it iced instead, which I like anyway. But it's also cold. Like I woke up and it was snowing, so I want something warm. So I'm gonna have some high caffeine levels today. Hopefully that will be something that is good rather than detrimental to my day. But I want to check in about Of Fire and Stars. I'm about 70 pages through, and it's been a while since I've read fantasy. And it's been a while since I've read a female romance. I'm kind of annoyed at the name of one of the main characters. Her name is Amaranthine, I think. She goes by Mare, and she's a horse trainer, and it irks me. It's addressed, but it still irks me. I'm like, Mare? But whatever, that's it. I'm gonna try to get like most of the way through it today. So I think like if I were to put a number, like a page count I'd like to reach, definitely past the 200 mark, which would put me past halfway. The rest of today, I need to do dishes, and I am working on like a little Instagram project where I'm dressing up as like quintessential male like romance leads, mostly because I don't always know what people see in the male lead in like romantic stories. So there's that. So I asked some people to help me out and like brainstorm characters, and I'm gonna try and figure out some outfits and maybe do some of them today once my hair dries and some of them tomorrow. But I think that should be fun. I've just been needing like a project to focus on that's a little bit more creative after a long 2 weeks of work. So just me whisking the matcha. Maybe I'll bake something today. It's been a while since I've baked something. Look, it's so pretty. So yeah, there's my matcha. Here's, why did I choose another caffeinated tea? I don't know. Here's my like, I think it's an English breakfast, or it might just be like a breakfast blend. I'm gonna let that steep for a couple more minutes. I like my black tea fairly strong. Like, I add milk and sugar, or almond milk and sugar, but I want to be able to like taste the tea. I don't know why this became a chat about tea. Happy Sunday. It's a little bit past 11, and I just want to update you on my progress with Fire and Stars. I'm 250 pages through, and I think my goal for this is I would like to have it done on Monday. So I'll try to read like approximately another 100 pages today and then finish it off on Monday so I can start something else. But I'm really enjoying it. I think the last thing I said when I checked in was Mare's nickname annoyed me, and it still does a little bit, but I can move past it. I like the relationship that Mare and Denna are forming with each other, and I like the complexity that's being added to both of their characters, of like the skills they have, the way they work together. So yeah, my plan is to keep reading that. Alright, so I just finished reading Of Fire and Stars by Audrey Coulthurst. And I ended up enjoying it, like, I think more than I had expected. I don't read fantasy that often. More often I read things that are kind of more magical realism leaning, or like, not speculative, what am I, like, kind of fantastical, but mostly rooted in the real world. So it was fun to read a fantasy, it was fun to read a FF romance, and I think I will continue on with the series, probably getting the rest of the books through my library. So I don't know what I want to do next in terms of like what I want to read. Like it depends on how I'm feeling. I'm leaning either between Juliet Takes a Breath or The Raven Boys, though now that I think about it, Juliet Takes a Breath, to take up a break and then jump back into the more fantastical, magical books. Ooh. Hello. I've done an awful job of checking in and reading. I'm gonna do check-in for what I read yesterday, which I started Juliet Takes a Breath, and I got one chapter through, and already I'm like really enjoying what it's bringing up about questioning feminism, specifically like mainstream white feminism. And these questions, these really essential questions about like who feminism was created for, and I think like it's so important to understand that early feminism was for upper middle class white women who were straight and able-bodied and etc. That context is important when we're like looking at early feminist texts, and kind of like keeping that in mind in our feminist history, because feminism has not always been inclusive and is not always inclusive, and I think that's important. So I'm really liking it so far. This is the second book that I've read this month that features a character going to or being in Portland, and they talk about Idaho, which does not happen very often, so I've been thrown off guard, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're mentioning Idaho. Like briefly, like in here it was like, oh, you're going to Idaho? It's like, no mom, I'm going to Oregon. And then in Darius the Great Deserves Better, it's, does Idaho even have colleges that are scouting for soccer? Anyway. Happy Tuesday evening. Wow, it took me way longer to figure out what day it is. Anyway, I really am not making very great progress on this. So there's part of me that's like, put it down and come back to it, because I am really enjoying it. But I think my headspace is like not quite where I want it to be to read this. And then there's also part of me that's like, try and read another section and see how that goes. Because the other two options are The Raven Boys or We Are the Ants. And We Are the Ants, I mean, I don't know. Not sure. But this is something that I think I'm going to put down, read another book, and then come back to this. Yeah, I'm like less than 40 pages through, so I'm not too worried about that. I think I'm going to start We Are the Ants. If it gets too sad, then really I've just got the one, Raven Boys. But let's go do that. Good morning, it's Wednesday, and I have some time before work, so I'm gonna show you my, feminist book club box, which I got how many days ago? That's a very good question. I think, I want to say 3 days ago. And I started a subscription to this box because I saw it on Instagram and I was like, that's so cool. And that's it. So the first thing I want to show, I'm currently using, I washed it so I could use it, is my Support Black Authors mug. I'm drinking a chai. I can't complain. I really like it. There's also a spiced white tea blend that I'm really excited about. I love loose leaf tea. There's a hand-painted journal, right? Or is there one or two? I think there's just one. It's so pretty. I haven't taken it out of this yet. It's just been hanging on. And then the book is Kindred by Octavia Butler, which is another reason why I was like, oh, I want to start my subscription when I did, because I have been meaning to pick up Kindred. The last time I went to my bookstore, they didn't have it, and I was like, interesting, how? But yeah, so I'm excited. I also just like opening things, and that's my little gift to myself that will continue throughout 2021. So last night I started We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson, and it's interesting. I think I really would have liked this when I was in high school. It gives me Going Bovine. It gives me those vibes. And the way that it's written, just like some of the language that's used is just like not my favorite. It's not bad or anything, I just don't like it as much. I mean, just like books I read where I'm inside the head of teenage boys, I don't always like, because sometimes I'm like, why is there all of this language? Which is, I understand, very vague. But I'm gonna keep reading it. Hello, happy Saturday. I'm cleaning my room. I'm always cleaning my room. I don't remember the last time my room was really, truly clean. But one of the things that's motivating me is I've asked, like, for Christmas, I would like to build bookshelves into the wall, just because that's the thing that I think will make me happy, that I want. I've moved almost all of the books that were on this shelf, which is my red shelf, under my desk. So that's their temporary storage. And I'm going to try to get this all empty so that I can move it over here and like measure, so that I know the size of wood planks that I want to get, / need to get. But yeah, reading update. I think I'm liking We Are the Ants more, but it's not my favorite. I'm a little less than halfway through, and I'm going to finish it. Like, there was part of me that was like, just DNF it. Like, I don't think it's the kind of book that I would enjoy, but I am curious to see where it goes. It's also something that, like, I knew this going in, and I probably should have listened to myself a little bit better, but like reading it when I'm having like a lower mental health time is like maybe not the best idea, because it's sad. It's a sad story. Like, there's not loads of hope. So yeah, we'll see. But I am liking Diego as a character. It's T. Who's she? What?
What did you say?
I said, what's T? Who's she? Alrighty. So I finished We Are the Ants, and I stand by my like previous assessment when I was like halfway through that it isn't a book for me. I think I would have liked it a lot more in high school, or like it is definitely more in the vein of what I read and what I was looking to read in high school. Yeah, it still reminded me a lot of Going Bovine by Libba Bray, but I think not only did I choose like a poor time to read it, I don't think I would recommend it to anyone struggling with their mental health during a pandemic, just because of like the premise of someone has the ability to, is given the opportunity to prevent the world from ending, and like contemplating that. I don't know if like contemplating whether the world ending being a good or bad thing is what I needed to add to like pandemic stress. I don't know, a lot happens. A lot happens. So yeah, of the two books that I have read for this video, I definitely preferred Of Fire and Stars. I didn't dislike We Are the Ants. I very much see its value as a book. That makes it sound like I disliked it. I didn't dislike it. I don't know. So I'm gonna jump back into Juliet Takes a Breath. I know initially I was gonna like start over from where I left. Oh, no, that I was gonna fully start over and not pick up where I left off, but I remember where I left off and have been thinking about it, so I'm just gonna jump back into that and probably just read a chapter before going to sleep. Then I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Hello. Checking in about Juliet Takes a Breath. I almost said Juliet is not okay, which is not the title of this book. Juliet Takes a Breath. I am on page 188, and literally can't stop reading it. Why did I put it down? I don't know. It's so good. Yeah, I don't have words. I'm probably gonna finish it tomorrow, which will be nice. Good morning. So quick morning update. It's what, Tuesday the 22nd. Here's my plan. I'm gonna finish Juliet Takes a Breath hopefully today, and then I'll share my concluding thoughts. I think trying to read another book would make this video way longer than I want it to, and I also feel like 3 books is a solid. Yeah, 3 books is solid. So yes, yeah, this is my first video of these, trying this style of like reading like other booktubers. So now I know that 3 is about like the sweet spot. And so we got our Christmas tree yesterday. We need to pick up 1 more strand of lights, and then we're gonna put all of our ornaments and the ribbon on. Here's what it looks like right now. Very cute. All right, so let's go through the books that I read for this little vlog slash challenge, kind of. And yeah, starting with Juliet Takes a Breath by Gabby Rivera, which I didn't give you my concluding thoughts on because I just finished it. But I thought this was so good. Like, don't know how to describe how good this was. I think it just, like, it provides a really important lens that some people might not have into feminism and into like the limits of white feminism or white-centered feminism. Also the limits of a biologically essentialist feminism. This is about Juliet, who reads a book written by a white feminist who lives in Portland, and she's like, oh my gosh, this book has changed my life. It's made me think about my body differently. I really like want to go work for this woman and like spend time with her. And Juliet is Puerto Rican and lives in the Bronx, and so she flies to Portland and spends the summer there, gets to know the woman who wrote this book, and like the book's main focus is about women reconnecting to the power of their pussy, I guess. But yeah, it was so good. The Portland, the way Portland is described, pretty spot on. The other one thing I will say is, going into this, I expected this to be kind of like contemporary, and it, I guess, technically is. It's set within the past 20 years, but it's set 2 years after 9/11, so there are certain things that happen, like discussions about 9/11, and some like technological details that for a while I was like, when is this set? But yeah, really enjoyed this. And then I read these two, We're the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson and Of Fire and Stars by Audrey Coulthurst. I really enjoyed Of Fire and Stars, and I think that We Are the Ants is a really good book. I would not say that I enjoyed it, just because it made me very sad. But I think, like, if I were to rank the three of these of most enjoyed to like least enjoyed, this is about the ranking. So yeah, I had a fun time. These are books that have been on my shelves for a while and have been on my radar because I watch Cece's channel, and I had a good time, like, spending a week and a half, 2 weeks reading these books. And